Hi friends, it's Katie, makeup artist, stylist and founder of beautyandtheboutique.com. Keep watching because I've got some really valuable tips that I think are really going to help you with your eyeshadow application. I'm going to show you an easy eye and brow makeover using this palette. It comes in 5 different shades to suit you. If you don't have this palette, you can use similar colours that you may already have at home. These palettes come with 2 tiny little brushes, and although these look tiny, they pack a powerful and effective little punch. Now, you might already have makeup brushes at home, in which case go ahead, use those. If you don't have any brushes at all at home, you can copy what I'm doing just by using a Q-tip. The first colour we're going to use is a matte, we don't want it shimmery, we want it matte, creamy colour. Now, have you got a creamy colour at home? If so, get the creamy colour out. It's got to be either cream or a very light beige, something that is going to look very neutral across your eyes, because we're going to use that to take down any redness. Now, with a fluffy brush, I'm using this tiny diddy one here, or if you don't have a fluffy brush, then use a Q-tip. You're going to load up your brush or Q-tip with the creamy colour. And you're going to apply that right across your lid up to your brow. When you first do it, you're going to think, oh gosh, that looks very white and bright. Well, yes, we want to brighten this whole area because we want to make it a nice, even tone canvas. This is almost like the canvas that we're going to paint on. Then, using your finger, this finger here, it's your ring finger. The reason we're going to use this finger is because, believe it or not, it has the lightest touch on your face. You can test it now. And the lightest touch means that it's the best finger for blending. So then you're going to just dab and feather and blend it so it's not such a harsh colour, and it just soaks in to your lid and brow bone. Just by applying this over the top is going to keep your eyeshadow on for longer and prevent any creasing. Plus, any colour that you put on top is going to look truer. To create an eyeshadow look, you need a little fluffy brush. Now, this one comes with the palette, but if you don't have a brush like this at home, you might have a slightly fuller fluffy brush which you can use, and failing that, you can even use a Q-tip. So you're going to put it into your mid-tone, load up the brush, and then we're going to use the windscreen wiper effect on our eyes. Stay tuned if you're thinking, what the hell is that? It is super easy and it gives you a quick eye lift. Place the brush in the middle of your socket crease. And if you're not sure where that is, get your finger, press in your lid gently, and you'll feel it's just between your eyeball and your socket. So it's in between there. You're going to put your brush in the middle, and then you're going to go backwards and forwards like a little windscreen wiper. It's better to apply too little than too much. And here's another tip for you. If you have a shaky hand when you're doing your makeup, as we can all do, take your little pinky finger, rest it on your cheekbone. It's going to act as your stabilizer, and use that to guide your hand. It will give you a lot more stability, and it will also give you confidence. Here's the thing, and this tip is important. When you're applying colour to the socket, make sure it doesn't go down further than an imaginary line from the corner of your eye that runs up to the end of your brow. Okay, so kind of make sure it doesn't go past that line there, because as soon as it goes downwards, your eyes can look a little bit sad, and we don't want our eyes to look sad. We want our eyes to look happy and lifted. If you find that when you're applying your shadow that, you know, you've gone right down there, you know, you're really taking it down there, what you can do is with a Q-tip, you can just smudge it off. And you'll notice just by doing that, it's just going to make the eye seem more lifted. This eyeshadow is really finely milled, and when an eyeshadow is finely milled, it means it's very, very easy to blend. However, if you're using an eyeshadow at home and you're finding it's not easy to blend, then a top tip for you is to apply a little bit of translucent powder over the top with a clean brush and then blend, making it all look smooth and blended together. So that's a little tip you can try at home if you don't have this eyeshadow. Because this look is all about looking kind of smoky but natural, I'm wanting to create a eye look that's smoky, but you can wear it in the day. You know, I don't want to, you know, we're not all going out every night, are we? Well, I'm not. And I want an eye makeup look that looks sexy in the day, but not too try hard. So I want to create more definition around my lash line, but in a subtle way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose a shade now that's 1 to 2 shades darker than the shade I've used in my socket. Now that comes with these little palettes, but if you do not have this palette at home, then you can just go choose a shade that's just 1 or 2 shades darker than the shade you've just applied there. Again, if you want to find out more about this palette that I'm using, then the link is below. So you're also going to need a little angled brush like this. Again, comes with the palette, but if you do not have this at home, then you could take a Q-tip, and I'm going to show you a little trick with a Q-tip. You can simply twiddle the ends in your fingertips. I'm going to make it slightly pointy. And when that's made pointy, you're going to dip it in some water to dampen it and then put it into your eyeshadow. The water will not ruin your eyeshadow because it will dry back perfectly. And then you're gonna just apply the colour along the top. So if you don't have any brushes. But what I'm gonna do is use this tiny little angle brush, and I'm gonna dip it into the water because I want this line to look slightly more defined. And when you wet eyeshadow, it will look more defined. A bit like an eye pencil, but more kind of softer. I'm going to put it into this shade is just 1 shade darker than my socket shade. Then I'm going to line just along my lash line. I'm going to go from the middle and I'm going to go outwards. Now you'll notice when I line, I'm not worrying about drawing a line, I'm simply dabbing on the colour. If you like to intensify your lower lash line, then with that same colour, dab it in, but this time don't wet your brush because you want this to look a little bit more softer. And you're just going to dab that colour along and under your lower lash line. Next up, we're going to take this pearly shimmering shade here. Now it's not overly shimmery, so don't worry, because I know some of us are a bit fearful of shimmery shades, but when shimmery shades are used on the brow bone, they will really catch the light and highlight and lift the brow bone. And often you know, we can be worried about shimmer and thinking, oh gosh, it's going to show up any fine line or creases. When it's used on the brow bone here, this is often the most smoothest part of our eye. It really helps catch the light and create more lift. So what we're going to do is now using a little sponge applicator, but if you don't have this at home, then you can use a Q-tip. You're going to dab it into the product, tap off any excess on the back of your hand, and then you're going to apply this colour from the kind of middle of your brow, so from the arch of your brow down to the tail end of your brow, and the line is going to be about 1/2 centimetre thick. Don't worry if it doesn't look blended, because then you're going to go in with your ring finger and you're just going to dab and feather that colour either side so it looks beautifully blended. Easy as that. Then with the sponge applicator or your Q-tip, to that same shimmery colour, you can, for this one, you can use the matte or the shimmery colour, it's up to you. I'm going to go shimmer because I think the more light we can attract to our eyes, the more they sparkle. And you're just going to apply this one around the tear duct area here. Okay, so you'll see that I'll just dab it on the inner corner of the eye. It's just like a press and dab, and then you can blend it with your pinky finger. And you can put as much or as little on as this if you like. If you want it even more intense and even more kind of dazzling, then you can wet the shimmering shade, and that will really intensify that kind of dazzle effect. Now, if you've never worked on your brows before, stay tuned, because I've got a really easy way to do it. Plus, believe it or not, it is with this same palette. If you don't have this palette, you want to go for a colour that is the same or as near as the same colour as your brow. So I'm going to choose this shade here, dab in. Now the brush isn't wet, I've dried off the brush on the back of a towel. With your finger, just kind of brush your brows upwards a little bit, just so you can really start to see kind of the shape of, the natural shape of your brow. Then you're going to take the angled brush, and with the pointy shade pointing towards your nose, you're going to just go along the base of the brow. I'm not worrying about drawing a line, I'm just dabbing and feathering that line in. Now, as you get more confident, you might think, okay, I'll put a bit more colour in, or I'll go for the darker shade. Or you might like to mix two shades in together. The beauty of this palette is that it gives you the control to choose how defined or how natural you want your brows to be. Now, if you have very thick brows, you might like to just keep the colour along the baseline, because that's often where we have little gaps. Now, when I get to the arch, I then change the angle of my brush to go downwards and take it very lightly into the tail of the brow. Now, once I've applied the shadow, I will then go in with, you can do this with a Q-tip, or I'm using a mascara wand it's an old mascara wand that's clean, and I don't use it for mascara anymore, but I will just use it to brush through my brows, and that just helps distribute the colour. But you could use your fingers, you could use a Q-tip, it's completely up to you. If you want even more help, then if you click the link below for this palette, I show you a full tutorial and photos of how to achieve this eye look and these brows. To finish the look, take your mascara and apply. Now, top tips for mascara application: apply at the base, wiggle, and then lift up, because if you get most of the product at the base of your lashes, you're going to make your lashes look fuller, and you're going to get less product on the tips. The mascara I'm using is this Lord & Berry one. I will put the link below. I love this because it's got a tiny skinny wand, but it means it coats every single lash, plus it's really buildable, so I can go natural with it, but I can also build it up for a really kind of nighttime look. You'll notice when I do the bottom lashes, I'm taking my wand vertically. Got that good definition by doing it this way. If you feel like you want to put more volume in, turn your wand horizontally and bounce at the roots. Also, another top tip, one that I love to do, especially when I've done my eye makeup, is really focus the mascara on the outer corner lashes at the top, and that really emphasises a kind of sweepy doughy eye look. Then a swoosh of your lipstick, or keep your lips bare if you like, whatever you fancy, and you're ready to go. This is one of my favourite shades. Again, if you wanted to find out what it is, the link's below. I hope you've loved this eye makeup tutorial. I hope you feel you've learned something from this. And if you want to find out any more tips and tricks, then simply click the link below. It's all there waiting for you on beautyandtheboutique.com. I can't wait to share even more makeup and style and happiness tips with you. I shall see you very soon in another video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.